Hello and welcome to part 4 of Women Working for the Glory of God. If you are a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, or even a mum, teaching your children about Jesus and his works, this interview then is just for you. Today's session is how you can passionately teach children about Jesus and his kingdom. My guest today is Karen Willoughby. She is a wife and mother to 3 lovely children currently living in KL. She originally comes from Ireland but has lived and worked overseas for more than 15 years. Karen is passionate about teaching children. Throughout her teaching career, she strives to inspire, encourage, and challenge children to become inquisitive learners who will grow up with a genuine concern to help others and the environment. Karen firmly believes that the academic, social, emotional, and spiritual growth of every child should be encouraged and nurtured. In her spare time, she enjoys spending quiet time in the presence of the Lord, being outdoors with her family, and volunteering to help people who are in need. So grab your cup of coffee and join me for a soulful conversation with Karen Willoughby. Hi, Karen, and welcome to Natalie Inspires You.
Hi, Natalie. Great to see you. I'm very excited to be here. I feel very honored, a bit nervous, but mostly excited.
So tell us, Karen, what is it that makes you so passionate to teach our little ones about Jesus and his kingdom?
Well, Natalie, since I was a child, the only thing I've ever wanted to be was a teacher. I honestly can't think of a more honorable profession to be in. I'm able to share my love of teaching with my students, and I'm also able to share my love of my faith with the students. So it's a double blessing. When I was growing up in Ireland, my family are strong Catholic believers. I attended a Catholic primary school and a Catholic secondary school. And I think this really gave me a great sense of belonging in the world. The presence of Jesus was very much at the center of everything that we did. I can remember saying prayers at different points throughout the school day and at home with my family. And I think this always helped me to feel somehow safe and loved and blessed at all times. I'm a parent now myself, so I know and I value these feelings very much, and I want the same for my children. Equally, I want the same for the students that I teach. I think if I can help my students in any way to feel more connected to the Lord, then in a way I'm going to help them to develop this sense of inner peace that I had when I was growing up. And when they have this feeling within themselves, they'll also be more open to being in peace with those around them and with everything else around them. And I think when we're growing up, it's important that we have this sense of calm and that we have this sense of belonging and sense of safety in our lives.
Absolutely, and I can so resonate with you, Karen, when you speak, because having been brought up in a Catholic and Christian environment and being part of a value-based school, I know now how important it is for us parents to choose our schools that give priority to values.
I think, when we were growing up, we took it for granted. I never thought about these things. But then suddenly when you become an adult yourself, and especially when you become a parent yourself, or when you become a teacher and you're responsible for the learning and the upbringing of other children, you suddenly realize how important a values-driven education is, and how important it is that you give guidance and that you give the correct message to the children that are in your care.
True, true. And to that, I'd also like to add passion. It's a well-known thing that a teacher who teaches passionately and who loves her job not only just imparts knowledge to the children, but she also teaches the children to love learning. I'd like to say that you are definitely one of them, Karen, and it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to have our children be taught by you.
Thank you, Natalie. It's a pleasure to work with such wonderful children and to be part of such a special school community.
Absolutely. Karen, can you share with us what activities and techniques do you use to make learning about religion exciting and interesting?
Well, Natalie, I find that I have to use a range of resources and a range of activities to engage the children, and not just the children. You know, you can have like adults as well are involved in different sessions. So you need to just be very much aware of the audience that you're working with. In the classroom, what I tend to do is have activities based around Catholic events. So, for example, coming up to Advent, we would be doing things like learning about the Advent wreath, Easter, Lent, different saints, and also we would celebrate special months, like we would celebrate the month of the Rosary, and we would have activities based about the Rosary. Last year we made beautiful little rosary beads, and I had some wonderful parents who really embraced that project and helped me a lot with it.
Oh, yes, Karen, I remember my kids coming home with these cute little rosaries, and they enjoyed, making them. And I believe they do use them also till today.
I think also, you know, Natalie, when we do have our lessons together, it's lovely to always start with a simple prayer at the beginning and to end with a prayer at the end. Usually I like to use like dim lighting and some candles and some essential oils too, as these sensory resources really help the students and adults to be more present in the moment, especially, you know, if it's at the end of a day and you're exhausted from what's just gone on before, or your mind is distracted, then suddenly when you go into this new atmosphere where it's kind of calm and it's a little bit dark and you smell a nice smell of lavender, then suddenly your mind gets transported to a different place and you suddenly think, and then you breathe and you suddenly feel more in the presence of our Lord. Usually, Natalie, as well, for our lessons, I like to start on the floor. I think it's more personal, so that all the children or any adults as well, that we're all in a large family circle. We will have our opening prayer, or we might have a little gratitude circle or a little reflection circle where we would talk about something that's happened that day or maybe earlier in the week. Then I would introduce our topic. I like to break the children into smaller groups. I think this is good to get them more involved in little discussions. With the older children, I love to pose a question. I might say, how hard is it to forgive someone who's hurt you? Or how hard is it to ask for forgiveness from someone that you've hurt? I think it's quite interesting to listen to their take on things. Then after discussions, we would look at the Bible together and see what Jesus advises. And then we would reflect and discuss his words. With the younger children, we would like to use some arts and crafts. This is good, you know, just to embed the key learning of the lesson. And it's also a good way of keeping the children engaged. Younger children, they definitely need to have their little hands active and doing things. At the end of our sessions, I like to end with a hymn. So usually it'll be quite a child-centered hymn. And if there's little actions to go with that, we will also do that. So yeah, I think variety is definitely important when you're teaching children about their Catholic faith.
True, absolutely agree with you when you talk about variety. Yes, certainly with the Catholic faith and with religion, matters like these tend to take a back seat. And what you've shared, Karen, is beautiful, beautiful. I'm sure the teachers watching today can certainly use a couple of your tips and to make their classes interesting, not just religion, but even for regular teaching. So thank you for that.
A pleasure. I think it's good to learn from each other is important, isn't it?
What would you say to teachers, Sunday school teachers also watching the show today? How best can they use their talents in bringing the good news about Jesus and his works, especially to little ones?
I think, Natalie, we mentioned the word about being passionate earlier. I think this is really, really important. Being passionate about teaching children about their faith will help to inspire and guide children on their own faith journeys. I think it is important to share with the children that we are all learners. Let them know that we're all on this learning journey together and that their opinions are equally as important as my opinion and that there's no rights or wrong. I think it's important that we have these relationships built on trust with the children. Of course, being able to pray, laugh, hold honest conversations is key in any lesson. That we listen and value everyone's contributions. I think it's important as well to allow time for the children to explore different topics, to share their opinions, to have spiritual conversations that they might not usually have. Sometimes just going off course, your lesson plan might have been about forgiveness, but then if something else just comes up through the lesson, that you stop and you embrace that and you take time to discuss that and explore it fully with the students. This is very important. Like I had said earlier, a variety of techniques is important just to keep the lesson lively and engaging for everybody.
Lovely. I especially like the part in where you say there is no right or wrong. And that once a student knows that, I believe they would be very comfortable to express themselves in a classroom in an atmosphere like this. Well, such lovely sharing, Karen. And I know some of my viewers, many who are of whom are teachers, will certainly benefit from your sharing today. So thank you very much for that. But before we end, I'd like to tell my viewers that I have been working with Karen for the past 3 years, and in all my dealings with her, she comes across as somebody who is so positive and very calm and so gentle. And I have honestly never encountered a time where she has been upset and angry, be it in the classroom or just around us parents. And probably, Karen, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong when I say that, I believe that happens because you are so passionate about what you are doing. You are so, your walk with Jesus is so beautiful. And that in itself helps you to teach us and to teach the children more about Jesus. And in all probability, you are led by the Holy Spirit.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. I think you're very kind. I feel very blessed to have such wonderful parents and colleagues who all work together to help build a school community that has grown so deeply in its faith over the last 4 years. I know I'm very excited about the school year ahead, and I truly hope and pray that the Lord will continue to guide, bless, and inspire all of us.
Karen, and that sadly brings us to an end of this lovely little chat. I was so enjoying it because it was soulful and so beautiful. And I'd like to end with a little sharing, if you don't mind. I have been working with schools, I believe, for the past 14 years. And in all my dealings with schools and educators, I would like to say that yes, everybody does their job well, or rather, most of them do their jobs well. But I have just come across a handful of teachers who work so passionately, who take up their jobs as a mission, and that certainly overflows onto their students. And I'd like to tell you that you are one of them, Karen, and especially in the area of imparting the Christian faith to our children. So my special prayer for you and your family will be that God bless you and may He give you the desires of your heart and may you always be under His tender loving care.
Thank you, Natalie. That means a lot to me. Thank you very, very much.